Moving on to our next story of the day. The other day we talked about Facebook instituting their 2020 policies from the election, and they're going to just basically transfer those in to the midterm election. If you didn't see that episode, I'll bring you up to speed. Basically, Facebook's going to act as the arbiters of truth. They're going to dictate what's misinformation. They're going to dictate what is a reliable source, or other words, reliable information. As I call them, they're just going to act as the council of truth and tell you what's true and what isn't true. They're literally putting a ton of money into what's called fact checking. Mind you, Facebook is the same people that wouldn't let you talk about Hunter Biden's laptop without getting removed or banned because you're talking about something that was supposedly Russian disinformation. Those same people, yes, Facebook thought it was Russian disinformation, a laptop, and said it basically didn't exist. It was a bunch of BS. Turns out it was real. Turns out there was a real laptop. Turns out everything was legit. And so they're going to act as the arbiters of truth and tell you what's legit, what isn't, even though they couldn't get it right at the very beginning. Just lovely. So that's what's going on with Facebook. Be prepared for just a whole bunch of shenanigans again, just like we saw in 2020 and 2022. Well, TikTok is now stepping into the game as well. TikTok has announced it will label content on election-related pages and add new policies related to political content ahead of the 2022 midterm elections. The updated guidelines expand the social media app's 2020 political guidelines in an effort to stop election misinformation in U.S. elections. Just another company going to take over and be the arbiters of truth and tell you what's real and what isn't real. Which direction, if we had to guess here on the Bald Brad Show, and I know you all know this answer already, which direction do you think this is going to swing in favor of? Gee, I don't know. Probably the Democrats, probably the progressive left, where they get to say basically anything, get the groom little kids on social media, which is freaking weird as hell. And I'm not saying even Republicans would do that. I'm just calling out the mere fact that they could say outlandish shit and get away with it. And we could say the most factual thing you could possibly say, men are men, and get banned and removed off Twitter, off big tech, off social media. So we already know which way this is going to swing. TikTok is about to go to hub for breaking news, and we don't accept paid political ads, but we are committed to combating the spread of misinformation on the platform, including through supporting our company with education and authoritative information on important political and public topics like elections. Our goal is to help TikTok remain a place where authentic content thrives. I have a lot of friends that I've made on TikTok. They keep getting their accounts banned like on a weekly basis. And they're the ones that are supposed to talk misinformation, that we're going to do a great job, make sure authentic content thrives. All the while they're literally banning people's accounts that have 28,000 plus followers every freaking week. And they're also happen to be conservative because somebody was offended by something that somebody said that had nothing to do with them in the first place. It's crazy. It is crazy what is going on with this country, especially the apps and platforms that we're using. Facebook, Twitter, Google, Yahoo. I mean, all these big tech companies are just all about censoring and just getting Democrats in office. But remember, they're arbiters of truth. They're going to tell you what's real, what isn't real, even though at a time when certain things were real, they're telling you it wasn't real. So now that it was real, all of a sudden, even if you still post about it, it gets taken down because it's still something they don't agree with. And what I mean by that is just as it get taken down, you get removed, you get banned off Twitter. There's things still to this day that are facts, like legitimate facts that you can go observe with your own eyes, and you can't say them on YouTube because you'll get removed. That's how far things have gone, where they're going to dictate what is truth and what isn't. If you haven't read 1984 Orwell's, I mean, you couldn't get any more close from what was in there to what we have today. Crazy. I mean, remember when Joe Biden was trying to put into the Ministry of Truth? I mean, that's not this far off here with what Facebook's going to do as well as TikTok. The election integrity efforts includes consulting with several organizations in its updated efforts. In 2020, TikTok worked with the National Association of Secretaries of State, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and Election Integrity Partnership, and its own Content Advisory Council. What does this sound like? God, I feel like I've read something like this before, where you had these companies, whether they're private or public, jump in bed with the government when elections being ran. Oh, it was Facebook the other day was doing the exact same thing. Oh, we're going to work with the government on this. Perfect, because they're trustworthy. That's for sure. Look what they just did with Mar-a-Lago. Look what they're going to do with the IRS agents. Look what they've done with the IRS agents under the Obama administration when Eric Holder was the attorney general, on going after conservative, name brand conservatives, and saying, we're not doing that. Turns out there's email links that it did actually happen, and people got in trouble for it. And you got to love this. Obama came out, I knew nothing about that. I had no idea. Attorney General Eric Holder was running the show, and no idea. Turns out there was emails that were sent to Barack Obama of which he knew about it. Nothing wrong. Not a big deal. Not going to prosecute. Oh, Hillary Clinton's email servers. Oh, she did something wrong. Oh, James, Comey, you're gonna tell us that she actually did something wrong, but you're not gonna prosecute it because it's unprecedented. Oh, gotcha. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. I know I'm going on a random tangent here, but it's just unbelievable that they're gonna hop in bed with the government, and that's supposed to make us feel safer. That's supposed to make us feel just better. The people, the right side of the aisle, Republicans and conservatives that aren't a fan of government, that don't like big government, that don't trust a damn thing the government does for the most part. You're going to try to make us feel better in terms of you're going to support our side and our arguments by getting in bed with them and then having this crazy misinformation thing you're trying to push where you have the Democrat side of the aisle that loves big government, that loves all this stuff that you're doing. Gee, again, like I said, I wonder which way it's going to sway. Other features include a reporting option, the addition of educational videos, and an in-app guide featuring information on elections. Further efforts related to new policies include details about the potential to remove content violating community guidelines, redirecting search results, reducing discoverability, or potentially blocking live streams or accounts that demonstrate a persistent misunderstanding of the platform's code of conduct. I mean, why even talk on YouTube or on TikTok? Like, why even talk on there? Because, I mean, you're going to get your content removed for violating community guidelines. Look, that's just anything and everything now at this point. Check this out. Redirecting search results. You could be looking for one thing, and they're going to reduce your discoverability of trying to find the very content that you're seeking after because they determine to be misinformation, when in reality, it could be actual legitimate fact and truth, like we've said here just a couple minutes ago. You could say that a man is a man on Twitter and be banned. It happened to Jordan Peterson. It happened to Charlie Kirk. It happened to the editor-in-chief of The Federalist. It happened to the founder of Babylon Bee. You could say an actual fact, and they will determine to be misinformation or hate speech or something, and now you've gone against their code of conduct, and you're being removed from the platform. So they're already doing this stuff. They're already meddling in the election. They're already doing shady stuff here. And IG, like I keep saying, I wonder whose side it's going to be benefit of. Just like when they sent out millions of ballots. Some of you got 2, some of you got 4, some of you got 5. Some of them were supposedly sent to addresses that don't even exist. Somehow somebody lives there, even though there's no property on site. There's not even a freaking neighborhood. You're out in the middle of the desert and they're voting. Somehow your great-great-great-grandfather voted. The guy's been dead for hundreds of years. Somehow he voted in the election. Nobody wants to bat an eye on it. Nobody wants to do any raids. Nobody wants to seize any election papers. They just want to do recounts and classify them as audits. But we can't talk about that on YouTube because we'll get taken down because it's misinformation. And they're going to lump that in with Russian disinformation, even though you can go get the registry yourself, go outside, walk the very same path, and try to find all these addresses that don't exist. The people aren't there. Nobody can find the people. Where were they? Was there ever a property here? Oh, no. Turns out, oh, you lived here for 40 years of your life and you've never seen a house here exist, but somebody supposedly lived here at one moment in time? It's all fake. It's all conspiracy theories, you guys. That's all it is. And you're going to have arbiters of truth, whether it's the White House, the government, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it means. They're going to sit there and try to suppress your speech and tell you that you're wrong, even though you could be verifiably true. So that's what's going on with TikTok. I'm curious who's going to jump in the bandwagon because as far as I know, who's going to sit there and kind of censor your speech this coming midterms, the list is this: Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and possibly Google in redirecting your search and your discoverability through their systems as well. Be prepared for all of this. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.